Hey y'all, this is Gail teaching chair yoga, fall prevention yoga class. We don't sit in the chair the whole time, okay? We can stand beside it, we can stand behind it, or you can stay seated in the chair. That works too. Do what you can with what you got. So what I'm going to do now is stand up, move this chair out of the way. I'll come back up to the front of the room near the end of the class for our guided rest, relaxation, and our hand tapping sequence if we have time. Okay, so typically we do, but let me move that chair out of the way. Very good. And I'm coming to the back of the room. I have two chairs, so you can do this class with a chair and a wall or two chairs, but I like the two chairs for the last third of the class. Okay, so we're going to start with feeling the floor with our feet. So I have my feet a little bit wider than shoulder distance apart. Just know you can stand beside the chair, behind the chair, or be nice and upright seated on a chair, but come away from the back of the chair so you engage those tall posture muscles, okay? I try to keep a little bend in my knees, and you know what? We're just standing here, right? So there's nothing really special going on. Well, what I invite you to do is imagine that there's a wrinkle on the floor. We hate wrinkles, of course. So we're going to press down and then press away with our feet. So we kind of activate that hip musculature, which strengthening the hip musculature is beneficial to have better walking, less falls, okay? So this is what this class is all about, doing those movements, those exercises that help us get our strength in our lower body, plus a little bit of upper body business. All right, so we're feeling our feet into the floor. Let's place our hands, find your belly button, and scoot your hand down a little bit. That's called your lower dantian in our Tai Chi class, and we place another hand above that. What we try to do is when we breathe in, the belly expands, and as we exhale, you contract that belly button towards the spine. Wiggle those shoulders a little bit, then relax the upper body, feet firm into the floor, smooth out that wrinkle, and let's breathe in, expand the belly like a balloon. And then exhale, belly button towards the spine. Relax those shoulders now. Okay, and again, breathe in, belly big. And exhale, belly button towards the spine. Welcome again to Chair Yoga for Fall Prevention here on Veterans Yoga Project. Again, breathe in and breathe out. One more time, breathing in and breathe out. Now what we do in our chair yoga fall prevention class is we do a warm-up that's to help us get the muscles and the joints kind of a little bit of warmth, a little bit of feeling into them before we do the stretching, strengthening portion of our class. So again, feet shoulder width apart, maybe a little bit wider, again, comfortable in your seat. And let's start by bending the knees and shaking the arms. Now if you're seated, maybe you lift the heels a little bit to do this bending of the knees business. And that's called a calf pump that returns blood flow from the lower extremities back to the heart. And it's also known as a blood glucose lower mechanism when you pump those calves, okay? Now, if it's available, what we're going to do is bring the arms upward and keep bending the knees. Shake, 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 shake. This is also called shaking gong in our chair Tai Chi class. Now let's take it over to the side, a little twist of the body, and then back to the center. We're still bouncing the knees, okay? Other side. You may feel burps happening. You're releasing kind of held little burps there. Back to the center. Now bring the arms out into a letter T. We're still bouncing the knees a little bit. This is great for carpal tunnel, for getting those wrists kind of nice and mobile. And then let's do palms up. I always think this one feels weird though. With the palms up. Okay, very good. Now we're going to come back to the center and spin the wrists. And you might notice, does the left one spin as easily as the right one? Maybe. Maybe they're the same. Maybe they're different. And I'm still kind of bouncing my knees here a little bit. And then reverse. Go the other way. So that's where I notice my left arm doesn't do the same type of movement as my right arm. I mean, it is what it is, yeah? All right, from here, we're going to cup the hands and swing the arms. I'm kind of coordinating my knee bend at the same time, okay? Breathing in, breathing out. This helps us with our range of motion in the shoulders. Now again, if you need to stand beside and just do one at a time, that works too. Just know that, okay? And if you've got arms on the chairs, kind of be mindful of that, that you're not going to hit your arms on the armchairs, okay? Now if you can, tap the shoulders. Little extra bend in that elbow. Again, do what you can with what you got today. You do not have to go at the speed that I am going. You do you, okay? Again. Now, from here, we're just going to make it smaller, smaller, and smaller. And I'm kind of moving a little bit. I don't want to get stuck in one place, but I'm going to take one arm forward and one arm back. Again, I'm doing a slow bend in the knees, maybe alternating lifting heels if you're seated. Now, those of you that are seated are going to stay here. Those that are standing, we're going to bring our arms out and across. So sometimes that chair back keeps us from doing that when we're seated. So again, just kind of do what you need to do or you can do. Let's do two more. This is two. And this is one. And then come back to the center and just kind of let it calm back down. Very good. From here, I'm going to interlace my fingers and push my fingers towards you. Now, I'm also trying to round out my back. Okay, so try to round out your back as you're pushing your hands forward. And then push the hands down. And then let's turn the palms up. Ooh, notice what you notice, right? And again, let's curve to the back of the room and then push the hands forward. Some of my fingers kind of release from that interlace. That's okay. Press them down. Very good. And then press them skyward. Do what you can with what you got. Very good. From here, it's a step touch. Step touch if you're seated. And if you're standing, maybe you can wave the arms at the same time. Maybe you hang onto the chair and just do one. And that's okay too. Or maybe you're standing behind the chair as you do this little step touch. Again, a little cardio here. Again, getting movement into those hips, into those feet. Lateral movement, which is very beneficial for fall prevention, all right? Lateral meaning you're going side to side is what lateral means, by the way. Always had to think about what's lateral. Okay, let's do two more. Two and one. Very good. My feet a little bit wider as when I'm standing, and we're going to do that spinal cord breathing. So remember those cupped hands? We're going to cup them here in front of us, and I have a little bend in my knee. We're going to inhale, elbows up, chest forward, and then exhale, curve your spine to the back of the room as you bring it in towards the center. Let's do that again. Inhale, elbows up, 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 chest forward. Exhale, bend the knees, curve that spine. Let's turn it over to the side. Inhale, elbows up. Get into those lungs, and then exhale back to the center. Other side. Inhale, elbows up. Exhale back to the center. From here, let's inhale, circle, sweep arms up, and then arms out to the side, exhaling. Very good. So next is our Big Six detox. Again, if you want to be seated during this, that's perfectly fine. Or if you want to stay standing, that's okay too. So what we do, we're trying to move the lymphatic fluids through our bodies so we can lessen brain fog, get rid of the waste in our brains at night, okay? Other things too, lymphedema, swelling in the ankles, feet, that type of thing. So we're going to take our hands, spread them out, and I'm finding my collarbone. I'm going to place my fingers above and below the collarbone and stroke across. So it's not a like digging into the skin business, but it's coming across above and below the collarbone. So this is area number one of one out of the 6 areas that we work to increase lymphatic fluid flow. We did a little bit of that when we were bouncing earlier, when we were doing that shaking qigong or shaking gong earlier. Now let's take it over to the other side. You can, in addition to stroking across, you could alternatively tap across and up and down. So, you kind of figure out which one you like best. One of the things I always notice when I do this, I get lots of nasal drainage going on when I do the Big Six. All right. From here, we're going to take our hands again, and we're going to take them in front and in back of our ear. So stroke down in front and back of the ear and down the jawline, and then down the side of the neck. Okay? So this is the one for getting all that cellular waste, that cerebral spinal fluid business out of our brains when we sleep at night. Okay? This is good to do before you go to bed, actually. Okay, and we're going to do the other side. So again, in front and in back of the ear. If you can do Spock hands, do Spock hands and do that. But usually when I say Spock hands, people go, I can't do that. But they can do fingers in front and in back of the ear. So there you go. And I get a little bit of the back because there's a lot of lymphatics going on in that bumpy part, the back of the head. And I'm spreading my sunscreen all over myself when I do this. All right, so those are areas 1 and 2. You go from low pressure to high pressure. Next is the armpits. Now you can make a little angle with your hand and kind of push into your armpit. You have that thumb in front on your pectoral, or you can do a little rubbing motion, little grabby business here. So men and women that get breast cancer, this is the area that they check. Did you have cancer go into these lymph node nests? You have a lot in your pectorals and in your armpits. So let's get rid of that waste by moving it out, okay? You should have an armpit, not a puff, okay? If you have a puff, that's an indication you do have inflammation, okay? So this is one way to kind of lessen that inflammation. Let's go over to the other side. So here we go, other side. I taught this class earlier today, and I was telling them, okay, you need to dig for gold right here. Okay, well, maybe not gold. How about a bunch of sweat? There you go. Again, you can also slap, tap the pit, or a little fist. So different ways to do the same thing, okay? Notice if it feels tender. Okay, so that was area number 3. Next is area number 4. So our gut is considered to be our second brain in our bodies, and we have lots of lymphs in our gut, in our stomach, in our abdominals. So we find right there at the ribs and then kind of stroke across. That's our diaphragm. Sometimes our diaphragm gets stuck up underneath those ribs and we have a hard time breathing. So let's kind of give it a little massage, and then let's proceed to either kind of chop or pound or shake or, circles, whatever you like to do. I'm going to do the chopping. I like the chopping. And I just kind of go around my waistline. Then I go kind of low, and I go high. And, I give a few more extra little percussion going on there. And you might find air escaping when that happens. Now, the next one is the quad, chopping the quad. So you have to kind of bring those feet out at angles. And I bend my knees a little bit. It's kind of like horse stance in Tai Chi. So where your leg inserts into your torso, that little crease there, it's called the quad in Tai Chi. And we take the sides of the hands and chop the quad. Now you can also rub instead, but in mixed company, we just chop the quad, okay? Now, if you have prostate cancer, where do they check for? Did it move to another areas? This is the lymph node nest. They check in this area, in that equinal crease. I know I say that word strangely, don't I? Okay, so the next one is the back of the knees. So again, you can do that little right angle and chop into the back of the knees or stroke the back of the knees. So I'm going to bend my knees, hike up my pants a little bit, and I'm going here at the bottom of my hamstrings and at the bend of the knees. This one's easier to do seated, by the way. And I'm kind of little slaps in the back of the knees, tops of the hamstrings, tops of the calves, I should say. Very good. Let's clap the hands, rub some heat into the hands. Very good. And see if there's any place that you need maybe to tap. Well, I'm going to go tapping up my arm and down the front. Actually, y'all join me, okay? Tap up the side of the arm, clear those energy blockages, and down. Clap the hands again. Rub some heat. And let's tap the side of the other arm. I love the shoulder part. I want to stay here all day. And then bring it down. Let's do the side of the arm again. Might feel kind of tingly here, yeah? And down. And from here, shake the legs. Woo! Stomp the feet, stomp in place. And then hang on to your chair. Hang on, maybe hands underneath. You're going to do ankle rotations. And try to do just the ankle. Try not to do the entire leg, okay, for today. And then reverse. I got a lot of snap, crackle, pops going on here today. And let's do the other side. Okay, other side. Woo. Notice if one side feels different than the other, okay? So these sequences, these warm-up exercises are designed to promote relaxation, flexibility, and overall well-being. All right, and reverse. Very good. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to assess our balance. It is called Golden Rooster, and let me scoot a chair in a little bit. So Golden Rooster is, let me show the seated version first, okay, shall I? Yeah. You're away from the back of the chair, and you're going to bend the elbow and lift the same side leg up. Now you may notice you might need to have a little assistance here. So you're noticing what's going on in that hip complex. The standing version, which I encourage everyone to try to do, is you're standing at the corner, towards the corner of the back of the chair. You're going to bend the knees and then take that tailbone. It kind of flares out to begin with, kind of tuck and roll it in. Bend the elbow up, okay, and bend that same side leg up and point the toe down. Now can you release the hand on the chair? Or do you feel stuff going on with that? Maybe your foot is closer. Maybe it's toe touching. Maybe it's barely lifted. Maybe it's here at that angle. So notice what you notice, okay? There's no right or wrong going on here. And release. Maybe you're noticing a lot of pain. Maybe so. So then I'm going to come over to the other side of the chair, or the other chair in my case, and do the other side. So again, we're assessing what's going on here. So hike up your pants, bend your knees, roll your tailbone under, bend the outside elbow up, and then take that same side leg, point the toe down. Notice if you can balance or not. Notice what's going on with that hip complex. Again, this is Golden Rooster as one of our standing postures we do in chair Tai Chi when we add the standing postures. Woo! And release. Very good. So, was left more challenging than the right, etc., that kind of thing. So again, just notice what you notice. Now, we're coming to the chair portion of our class, our strengthening portion. This is where we will need either your TheraBand or your strap, but definitely your block. So today I'm going to use the strap. So let me come onto the chair, bring my chair back a little bit to where you can see what's going on here. Okay, so I'm going to put my chair to the side, and just know that we're going to probably do this in every class. So if you want to set up your strap to be prepared, you can. But if you don't have it prepared, there's one of two ways you can do this. One way is to thread it into both ends of the buckles and then thread it through the top part to where you make a loop, okay? And then you're going to step into the loop and use that for part of our class. Now, if you don't have a loop and you're using a TheraBand instead, using just a plain old yoga strap, you bring it underneath and you basically do your shoelace tie. So it's, one over the other. You bring it underneath, and then you're going to have to make a bow, make a bunny ear, and then make the other bunny ear. Now I'm going to go ahead and use the buckle part of this just because it shows a little bit different way of doing the exercises because of that. And this is the gold standard. Let me put it that way. This is the gold standard. So if you want to transition at some point in time to the gold standard, this is what you're going to need to be able to do, is have a loop on your yoga strap, okay? But you can still get a lot of the stuff done with the other types of equipment. So I'm going to step into the strap. And then I'm trying to make sure my buckle is going to be not on my legs. So I'm kind of cinching up on that strap a little bit. And what I'm working towards is I want to have 2 fist distances apart in between the knees. So that's the distance that you're going for. Again, you're away from the back of the chair, by the way. And I'm going to tighten it up just a little bit more. Ooh, just a little bit, to where if my feet are pointing straight forward, I'm feeling a little bit of contraction energy happening in the side of the body, maybe in my low back a bit. And again, this is about strengthening the lower body musculature to help us have less falls. So that's the objective of Friday's class, okay? It's kind of a PT type of class, all right? So we're going to take one of our feet. Now, if you have it in a tie, it's not going to be as much range of motion going on here, okay? So we're going to walk that foot into, we're doing the side of the foot into one that's being stable, okay, as best we can. So in other words, the knee is coming out at an angle a little bit. And from here, I encourage you to press down into the floor with your stable foot. Maybe your hand is on that leg. And then the other leg is about pushing it away towards the floor. So you should be feeling lots of contraction energy going on here. Yes? No? Okay. Whew. I'm feeling it in my behind a little bit. And do what you can with what you got. If it feels spicy, my advice to you is to listen to the breath going in through the nostril tips. So breathe in and listen to it as it exits, exhaling. Sometimes that redirection of the senses allows you to be a little bit more spicy in the posture. Hold the posture a little bit. If it doesn't help, you back off just a little bit, okay? And again, breathe in and slowly breathe out. And relax, release. Relax all that tension. Okay. So just because we got several different variations going on today, we're going to do the other side. I'm going to show it with the TheraBand on the other side, okay? So again, make sure it's fist distance apart as I kind of get set up here. My TheraBand tails long? Yes, they are. And my bunny ears are going to be super long. Oh my God, this is like double the size I need, I think. But you know, I think it was time before last, my TheraBand broke, so it's like, okay. So I still have fist distance apart. Very good. So I'm going to take the other foot, heel toe it in. So this one has a little bit of give because it is a stretchy band. And so you might have to work a little bit more to get the same kind of effort going on. So the stable leg, press firmly into the floor. So that one's nice and contracted. Yeah. And the other leg, I'm going to have my same side arm back behind me of the contracted leg. And I'm going to take my other hand and push that leg away to where I feel a similar contraction energy sensation. Now, what you can do a bonus with the TheraBand is you can pulse it away. Oof. Sometimes that's good. Sometimes it's like, ooh, not so good. But you still have a big energy going on. And again, you can press it away, hold it here, hold it here. So we're trying to go in at the different angles here in the hip ball socket complex that's going on here. And release. Whew. We're going to go back to the other side. So again, you're trying to bring that other leg out to the side with the bunny ear and the yoga strap. You don't get the flexibility of pulsing it out, but you still get the strength building, okay? So again, press into the stable leg, press the other one away, feeling it in different places. So the TheraBand, you're going to feel it a little different than the yoga strap, than the tie when you do the yoga strap. And release. And then we're going to go back over to the other side. Bring that foot into the side of the stable foot. Press down into that stable foot. Use your hand if you're using a TheraBand. Press it away. You may pulse it or not. You get to choose. And I'm kind of hinged forward here a little bit. Breathing. Can you feel it, John? Yes? Okay. And release. Okay, undo your strap. Undo your yoga band. Very good. And then from here, grab your yoga block, okay? Grab your yoga block. I place it in between the thighs, and it's about, I don't know, 4 to 6 inches away from the tip of the knee, so I'm going to scooch it in. So it's the medium width. It's not the skinny one. It's the medium. Okay, go for the medium. All right. Then we're going to heel toe the feet in to where you feel that inner thigh business, the business of the inner thigh. And then you remember how we kind of patted our belly earlier? Yeah? So now we're going to keep contracting the block the legs towards one another, and we're going to play the bongos right here. Play the bongos. Don't let the block move. Don't let it move. You can do the same thing with the ball. Don't let the ball move. Here we go. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And release. Now, this time when we do this, let's take it out just for a moment here. Shake those feet, wiggle those legs, stomp those feet, wiggle those legs. Bring it back. Oh, yay. Walk those feet in. Now, we're going to add on to that. How can we add on to that? We're going to press vigorously into the floor with our feet this time. So firm feet into the floor. Squeeze the block. Squeeze it more. Squeeze it even more. Now, let's play the drums. Here we go. Feet firm. Play. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Woo. And release. Yay, that's over. Stomp those feet. Shake those legs. Ooh, stomp them some more. And you know what? We need to do sumo stomp right here. So hands underneath the knee, bring the leg out and stomp and bring it to the center. Do the other side. Let me move my strap out of the way. And do the center. Now, try this without the hands. See how high you can go. Ooh, notice if it's spicy, okay? We're being sweet. We're being kind. You do not have to have a lot of force to do this. You can just land softly. Again, it's for the hips, okay? Let's do one more each side. My husband says I shake the house when I do this. All right. Now, we're going for some more strengthening of the hip musculature. I'm checking our time too, okay? I'm going to turn sideways on the chair. If you have arms on the chair, you may have to do this at an angle, okay? Just know that, right? And you know what? You could also do this facing forward, where you take a bun off and you bring the leg back. So this is another way to do this same posture. But I like to show you this sideways. So you choose. You want to be on the side, or do you want to turn and bring the bun off? So you get to choose, okay? So I'm going to bring my bun off and bring my leg back. You may not notice your hip flexor kind of tight here, your quadricep kind of tight. And I got to move my behind where it feels okay, comfortable. Now, typically what happens to me is I tend to lean forward. So I got to think about, okay, ear over the shoulder, shoulder over the hip. So nice kind of an alignment here. Then I'm going to scoot a little bit forward to make that happen. Now, if you got shorter legs, you may actually have to take your yoga block and place your foot on the yoga block, okay? Now, I've got long legs. I don't need to do that, so I'm going to bring that back underneath. So what we're going to do, I'm on curly toes or tops of the back toes, sitting up tall. There's a back bend going on right here when we do this. The bun that's closest to me or off the chair, you're going to squeeze that bun. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. If you want more, then you shift your bun a little forward. Woo! It doesn't take much. And then raise the same side arm up. Hang on to the chair with the other hand, or both arms up. You get to choose here. Press firmly into the floor. You should be feeling lots of stuff going on here. Breathing in, breathing out. And release. Woo! All right, we're going to switch over to the other side. So it's going to be the other leg coming off the chair. So I'm just going to turn over to the other side to do this. Again, I scoot that leg back. Look, I'm leaning over. So I got to think about, okay, shoulder over my hip, head over my shoulder, something like that. Now, I'm going to bring my knee in a little bit. Squeeze the bun that's closest to me or off the chair. Woo! If you want more, shift it forward a little bit. Same side arm up. Grab that chair. This is a variation of Warrior One posture. Breathing in and out. Your heart rate should kick up on this one because there's an element of a back bend. Back bends make the heart rate go up. Always keep it between the easy and ouch today. And release. Yay, that is over. Let me see what else we need to do here while we're still seated. We need to do those 6 essential spinal movements. So let's do cat-cow. So hands on the knees. Again, we're away from the back of the chair. Let's curve to the back of the room. Ooh. And we keep our chin and eyes looking forward. We don't drop the chin towards the chest, okay? Because that's too much excessive curve for the cervical spine. And so I'm always teaching this from back yoga perspective too. And then come slowly. You're going to untilt the tailbone to where you come back to a tall seated position. So you went from kind of rounded to more upright. Sometimes that's spicy, folks, okay? Go slower if it is, all right? Slow, slow, slow is the name of the game. Now I'm going to place my hands on my legs, on my shins, my knees. Well, not my shins, but the top of the legs. Bend my elbows out to the side and then hinge forward a little bit. This is considered to be a forward fold. Now, again, a lot of folks in traditional yoga classes, they'll drop their chin. Don't do that, okay? If you have back challenges, if you come to my back yoga class, chair Tai Chi, we just have, the ears aligned with the tops of the shoulders. So we're moving like a unit. We're hinging from the hips, okay? We're not doing stuff with the upper back. Now, come back up to tall postures called mountain posture. Very good. And we're again going to kind of roll that tailbone under, curve to the back of the chair. So it's like your back muscles are peeling away from your spine. They're not actually doing that, but it kind of feels that way, And then undo yourself from that. Come back up to a tall seated posture. My left side is always spicy in this one a little bit, so I'm always going slow, okay? And elbows out, hinge forward. Again, for your flexion and extension of your spine. Beautiful. Come back up to tall seated mountain. Next is side lateral flexion. We kind of did that side to side movement in the standing warm-up section of the class, but we're going to do the seated version. You can always do these standing, by the way, okay? So inhale, circle, sweep arms up, and then bring a hand back behind you. And the one that's up in the air, kind of inhale, reach some more. Wiggle those fingers if you can. Feet a little firm into the floor, belly button tight. Exhale, lean that side body over. Woo. This is like grabbing that zucchini can on the top shelf in your pantry. Nobody wants that one, but it's way up there. Inhale, back on up. Exhale, float it down. Beautiful. We're going to do that again, other side. So here we go. Inhale, circle, sweep both arms, up, up, up. And then sneak the other one behind you. You can be on your wrist or fist. Remember that, okay? And then inhale, reach, reach, reach for the sky. Beautiful. Exhale, lean the side body over. Now, maybe you bring your hand out a little bit more if you're going a little too far. Sometimes we get a little ambitious in these poses, okay? Bring it back on up and then float it down. Beautiful. Next is unsupported twists. So again, I teach this class from a perspective of, we're protecting our back also. So what we're going to do is make a letter W with our arms. So basically arms a letter T, and then bend the elbows to make it look like a letter W. And you're squeezing the shoulders towards the mid-back, yeah? So you're feeling this upper body contraction. Feet, let's bring the feet out just a little bit. Kind of point the toes a little bit towards the corners of the room. Very good. From here, breathe in, belly big, squeeze those shoulders. Now contract that belly button towards the spine. Turn your entire thoracic spine from the collarbone down to the belly bone towards one side. And keep your chin lined with your chest, by the way. And then stay here, breathe in, belly big. Contract that belly button, come back to the heart center, and relax that squeezy shoulders, because we're holding those shoulders just a little bit, right? So we're feeling that contraction energy happening. So let's go back and do that. So letter T and go back to letter W. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Beautiful. Now, again, breathe in, let the belly be big. Now, exhale, contract that belly button, turn the other direction, okay? Chin aligned with your chest. Ooh, did you turn more? Maybe. And then from here, breathe in, belly big. Exhale, back to the center and release. I love it. Now, we're going to do the supported twist this time. We don't normally do that, but I just want to show you a little variation. We raise a hand up in the air and bring it across to the outside of the knee. Now, we're already twisting here, okay? Now, from here, we're going to take the other hand back behind us. And then think about got a string on the top of the head and you're trying to lengthen up. Now, raise both arms up and twist towards the opposite direction. Twist towards the top hand direction. Now, put the arms back on down. Just let them relax here. Don't press into the arms into the chair. So this is an element of a levered twist without the lever, because you're not like pushing into the side body and like cranking yourself into a twist, okay? I don't want you to crank. I just want you to let your spine do all the work. Now, raise the hands up, bring everything back to the center and release. We're going to do the same thing with the other side. So other arm goes up, the other arm. Bring it across. Notice that you've twisted a little bit already, okay? And then sneak the other hand back behind you. Think about that string being tall spiral staircase. Now, lift the hands, twist towards the hand, the hand that's on top. And then lay the hands back on down. And just, it's like you're wringing out a wet washcloth right here. We're thinking about our spine like a tall spiral staircase, okay? Very good. Lift the hands up, bring everything back to the center. Beautiful. Okay, we are ready for the standing portion of class. Again, some of these things can't be done well seated on the chair. Just kind of decide what you want to do, okay? But we'll be beside the chair, behind the chair. So let's come on up. I'm going to move my equipment out of the way because I don't need it right now. My stuff is all over the room now. And I'm getting my 2 chairs set up. Well, I'll probably only need 1 to begin with, but I'm getting it ready just in case. Okay, so what are we going to do here next? We need to do the stretching part and the sciatica soother first, yeah? So I'm going to turn my chair over to the side. Now, y'all don't have to turn the chair. Just know that, okay? I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. Okay, so I've got my stomach next to the back of the chair, and the leg that's closest to me, or to you, we're going to step that leg back a little bit. And then the other foot, I'm going to hop it towards the back of the chair. Now, with the leg that's closest to the chair, I'm going to bend that knee. Ooh, I'm already feeling it here in my hip complex. And the back heel is down on the floor. Now, whatever leg I've stepped back, that same side arm goes up. You may have the option of releasing the other hand, doing both hands, but I just do one because I'm quite wiggly. I've got that scoliosis, so I kind of lean one side versus the other. So I'm using this hand on top, just pressing it down for safety. Bring the arm down, lift that back heel, step it forward. Let's do the other one. Step it back. Lay down on that heel, okay. Bend the knee that's closest to the back of the chair. Bend that knee. Woo! Same side arm of the leg that stepped back goes up. And now what we're trying to do is notice this side versus the other. Does it feel more balanced? Does it feel more wiggly? Is there some stuff going on? So just notice if you're kind of swaying side to side, okay? Hand comes down, step that back foot forward. Now, we're going to do that again, but we're going to step back a little bit more. So step back your regular distance, and then step back a whole bunch more and lay down on that back heel. That other leg, I'm kind of scooching it towards the back of the chair. I've got carpet here, so I can kind of like do that kind of thing. And I'm going to bend my knee, woo, towards the back of the chair. Now I'm feeling it a little bit more in the calf, bottom of the foot, the side muscles here on the hip bone, the booty and all that. Same side arm goes up. Maybe I can release the chair, maybe not. I'm just kind of testing here. I feel it very strong in the front of my leg and the back of my calf, or in my calf. And definitely stimulating the bottoms of the feet. Bring the hand down, lift that back heel, kind of hop, drag it up to the back of the chair. We got to the other side. So step back, regular distance, and go back a little bit more, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit more. Lay down on that heel. Woo. Now that forward knee, let's bend that knee. Notice if this feels different on this side versus the other. When you're ready, that same side arm can go up. So here's a little back bend when you're doing this. Again, this is a variation of Warrior One posture. Virabhadrasana 1 is the big fancy name for it, okay? Can you release the hand? Does it feel wiggly? Does it feel different than the other side? So things to kind of note, okay? Bring the hand down, take that back heel, lift it up, step it, drag it up to the back of the chair. All right, so the next one is like the sciatica soothing, the nerve flossing. So we're going to step back the foot. It's regular distance. I'm going to get the other one a little bit closer to the back of the chair. Now, both legs are straight to begin with. I'm going to take that back heel, lift it up, and then I'm going to take my booty and curl it under. Ooh, ooh, did you hear that? Same side arm goes up. So you may be feeling a little different in tilted under tailbone, back heel lifted, Warrior One variation. I'm kind of shaky in this one. And then bring the arm down, Release that back heel, step it to the back of the chair. Okay, we got to do the other side. So step it back the regular distance. Now I'm going to scoot my other foot a little bit closer to the chair. Both legs are straight to begin with. Lift the back heel, okay? Then you take your tailbone, curl it under, tuck it under, okay? Same side arm lifts up. Ooh, I'm wiggly on this side. Notice what you notice, okay? Maybe it's the same. Maybe it feels different. Maybe it feels a whole lot different. Maybe it's shaking a little bit. Woo! Bring the hand down, bring the leg out of that position into the back of the chair. Let's shake those legs. Oh my goodness. Walk those feet. Again, that's sciatic nerve relief, so that's a good one, okay? Next is our leg swing technique. So I'm going to move this other chair more forward so I don't hit that chair with my leg. Very good. And I'm kind of close to the wall, so I make sure I got some good distance here. So to start out with, we just do a leg out to the side and in, okay? You don't have to necessarily flex the foot or not, but if you want to keep it in a constant position, choose what position that is, and basically out and in. So I have a little flex heel going on here. Ooh, hello hip. Typically you do this 8 to 10 times, but I think sometimes that's too much. Let's do 2 more. 2 and 1. Those simple leg sweeps out to the side is what's that called. Now we're going to do march a little bit in between. That kind of loses that muscle memory a little bit, a little held tightness. And we'll do the other side, okay? So again, out to the side and in. Start when you need to. Notice what's going on with your back, if there's increased pain levels, if there's spiciness, etc. Yeah? Let's do 2 more. 2 and 1. Beautiful. Kind of walk in place there. Next is our psoas strengthening. Oof, this one's kind of spicy, okay? So what we'll do, and say, the leg was just kind of going out to the side, right? So we're going to take our foot and turn the heel out, toes in. In addition to going out, we cross the midline. Now, if you're allowed to cross the midline, some of us have hip replacements. Maybe that's not a cool thing to do, so follow your doctor's orders, okay? But you can go to the ankle at least. So we're going to bring that heel out, toe in, and I make sure I've got some space between me and the chair, okay? Out and across. It's going to really target that psoas muscle, P-S-O-A-S. Kind of lubricating that ball socket hip joint. 2 more. 2 and 1. Whew. March in place. When now I do that, when I feel my L3, L4 kind of clicking in place, yeah? All right, let's do the other side again. Heel out, toe in as you bring it out and across. So here we go. Sometimes I have to look down at my feet to make sure I'm not going to hit the back of the chair. That would not be fun because I'm barefoot today. Let's do 3 more. 3, whoo, 2, and 1. Clap the hands, rub some heat, and make fists and kind of pound that hip area. Sometimes that helps, and you can walk in place too. That's a nice one. All right, this next one's a little complicated. This one's really going to get into that hip joint, okay? So as we bring it out, we're pointing the toe out. As we cross the midline, we point the toe in. So it's toe out, toe in. So it's really getting into that hip joint, okay? So we're getting all oiled up today. So point the toe out, bring the foot out, point it in when you bring it across. A little more complicated, a little more brain work going on here. Might feel a little bit spicy. Let's do 1 more. Very good. And kind of walk in place. Maybe a little bouncing. Yeah, maybe. We're going to do that other side. Again, it's going to be toe out, crossing it, toe in. Toe out, toe in. Here we go. Woo. Does one side feel easier to do versus the other? This side feels easier for me to do. The other one felt a little stiff. 2 more. 2 and 1. Very good. Walk in place. Very good. Next is a 3-point step. So the objective of the 3-point step is to have you being experienced in different leg movements. So it's basically to the front, to the back, back behind you. So you're kind of working all the little different angles when you do the Tai Chi 3-point step. So we turn our toes, our body, towards the back side of the chair. And then again, bend the knees, take that tailbone, roll it under, okay? And then we're going to bring a heel out, toe up. The one that's closest to the chair, knee bent, tailbone tucked under. It's doing a lot of the balance work. So we're going to do toe to the, or heel down, toe up, back to the ankle, out to the side. Heel down, toe up, back to the ankle. Point the toe back behind you, squeeze the booty back behind you, heels up, and then back. And then stand up, move a little bit, three or four little steps. Bend the knees, roll that tailbone under. Very good. Here we go. Heel down, toe up to the front, back to the ankle. Out to the side, back to the ankle. Back behind you, feel that little squeeze of the bun, back to the ankle. Come out of the pose, walk a couple of steps. Very good. All right, toes towards the corner, bend the knees, roll that tailbone under, get ready. Belly button tight. Heel down, toe up to the front. Very good. To the ankle. Out to the side, to the ankle. Back behind you, to the ankle. Yay. Kind of walk out of that. Stomp those feet. Now the leg closest to the chair, to swing that leg, to let go of that built up pressure, okay? Whew, that feels good when we do that, when we release that, yeah? So now we're going to go to the other side of the chair. The other side of the chair. Bend the knees, boom, curl the tailbone under. Y'all got it, right? And then you're going to bring your foot out. You're on the back of the heel, toe up. Y'all ready? Here we go. Heel down, toe up, back to the ankle. Out to the side, back to the ankle. Point the toe back behind you, squeeze that bun, back to the ankle. Come out of the pose, walk 3 or 4 steps. Come back to your chair. Bend the knees, roll that tailbone under. Here we go. Heel comes forward, toe up, 3-point step. Tai Chi 3-point step. Go back to the ankle. Out to the side. Woo! Back to the ankle. Point the toe back behind you. Hello. Back to the ankle. Come out about 3 or 4 steps. And then back to the corner of the chair. Bend the knees. Roll that tailbone under. Very good. Heel down, toe up to the front. Very good. Back to the ankle. Out to the side. Back to the ankle. Point that toe back behind you. Woo! Back to the ankle. And walk a little bit. Now the leg closest to the chair on this side, let's just kind of swing that leg. Watch the wall behind you. Watch so that you don't hit it, okay? Just kind of release that pressure. That's good for bursitis. Our balance, definitely for balance. Building the strength and getting ready to walk, okay? Very nice. Okay. I mentioned we're going to do a couple of new things today. I'm going to show this to the side of the chair. You can also do this behind the chair, okay? So I'm doing it beside the chair so you can see this. So it's basically coming up on the balls of the feet and lowering down. Now you can add a little bounce to it or not, depending on your level of being able to do the spiciness. So up and down. Again, it can be a soft landing. It can be a bone building landing. Again, this is to help us have better balance, to help us fall less. All right, and that's enough of that. Now I'm going to stand behind the chair on this next one because I need the chair in this one. Now I'm away from the back of the chair. And basically, we're going to come up on the heels and then lift the toes. So you kind of, well, I guess I can sort of show this sideways. So you're coming up on the heels and then lifting those toes. I'm kind of sticking my booty out when I do that. So come up. And just kind of notice what you notice. So some of us that have neuromas or plantar fasciitis or some other kind of foot challenges may be pretty challenged in this one, okay? Go a little bit slower. Slow is fine, okay? Just know that. Hang on to that chair, that's for sure. Very good. Let's do 2 more. And 1 more. And then kind of stomp in place, walk in place. I'm going to bring that chair back to the center. So this next one, You can do this seated or standing. Now I'm going to do it standing. I have my belly up against the chair and my feet are pointed towards 12 o'clock. You may want to either hang on to the chair or hands on the shoulders. Now you get to kind of judge here, okay? And I invite you to either close your eyes or gaze down at the floor, whatever's best comfortable for you. So you may want to have them gazing and then maybe close if you feel comfortable. So what we're going to do, I'm going to do this with my eyes closed. With the eyes closed or gazing down at the floor, we're going to take our nose and look over one shoulder. And notice if you're swaying, if there's some challenges here. And then bring it back to the center. Open the eyes a little bit if you need to. If you want to get reoriented, it's okay, all right? And again, close or gaze your nose down at the floor. Either one's okay. And we're going to take the nose and look over the other shoulder. Very good. And back to the center. Excellent. This next one, and this is again to kind of note where you are balanced or not, yeah? If you had some wavering going on. So I think I mentioned this before we got on camera about the slalom skiing. My mother would go water skiing in the summertime, and it would be one foot in front of the other. And then for this particular exercise, you take your back toes and touch your back heel, okay? So I would advise doing this behind the chair. So you got your one foot here at the back of the center of the chair, and you scooch the other toes, touch the heel, and then you're going to notice, okay, do you need to grab the chair? Can you just place your palms on the chair? Can you do one hand off? Can you do, no. Can you do two hands? I cannot. So I've got this scoliosis going on. So I have like super strong muscles on one side versus the other. So I always notice I want to fall over, yeah, to the right side. So for me, I can only do one hand. So just notice what you notice here, okay? And release. Bend both knees. Come out of it. Kind of walk a little bit. Let's do the other side. So you get that foot right there in the center. Just scooch the other one back behind. Now again, if you are not medically released to do this, you know, maybe this is not your thing to do. And that's okay too, all right? All right, so again, notice on this side, okay? So maybe it's gripping the chair. Maybe it's pressure of the palms on the chair. And maybe that's good enough right there. Maybe the one arm can lift. Okay, maybe you can lift up the other arm. Which one felt more balanced? Think about that. And then maybe, I still can't do it. I can do it more on this side, but yeah, again, that's because of the nature of my body business. My body business. Ooh, cool. And release. Beautiful. Okay, just kind of move a little bit side to side. I'm looking at the rest of the things we need to do. We need to do the 2-chair walk, but you know what? Let's do the golden rooster first, okay? So again, golden rooster was where we had the leg next to the chair. We're going to bend the outside arm and then the outside leg, point the toe down. Maybe the hand goes on the chair or not, so I feel less pain. I feel more stable in this one, on this side, but who knows? Maybe you still feel the same. Maybe, you know, because we have been working very hard here. And release. Let's do the other side. So other leg, other outside leg, other leg. You lift, bend that knee, bend that elbow, point that toe down. How much do you have to hang on to the chair? Do you notice any difference from the beginning of class and now? Maybe you do, maybe you do not. And release. Very good. So this next one is walking forwards and backwards. That's part of your homework. Homework number 1 is to do those clamshells, the things with the straps, the yoga straps, the TheraBands. This is homework number 2, where you walk forward and backwards. So you can do a chair and a wall or use a wall. But what I encourage you is not to look down at the floor, because a lot of us look down at the floor. So that's kind of tough. So you're going to heel toe forward and forward and forward. And then you look at your feet. Are they pointed in the same direction? Are they out to the side? Are they in? Notice what you notice. Take the forward foot, toe heel, toe heel, toe heel, toe heel. And again, notice I have one foot turned out to the side, one kind of going forward. I'm going to take the forward foot, bring it back, and bring the other one forward so I can take the new back heel, bring it forward. Heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. So I'm kind of switching here. And then toe heel, toe heel, toe, heel. And I'm trying to keep my eyes gazing forward. I'm going to switch my feet and repeat. Heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. So maybe you have a long hallway or a kitchen counter where you can kind of hang on to the surface while you do this. So walking backwards uses different muscles than walking forwards. That helps facilitate going up and down the stairs, by the way. So, it's a good thing. So there's a lot of functional moves going on here. Heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. This is homework number 2. And toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel. Okay, so for the real reason why you need 2 chairs is this next one. It is sit to stand. So typically you would take your chair and put it up against the wall, okay? But I have carpet here, so I can demonstrate this with one chair in front of the other. And just notice when you sit down, what do? I hike at my pants, I look and see what I've got, and I hang onto the chair and I come down. Do you do that too? Or do you just come slowly down without any assistance? It's not good or bad, I'm just, what do you do, right? And I'm away from the back of the chair. So the typical way to do this exercise is hands on the shoulders and stand, and then lower. But do you plop? Are you plopping? Are you like honk? Maybe. Or if that wasn't easy for you, maybe you bring your heels a little bit more towards the back, the front of the chair, hands on the front chair. Lean forward, come up. See, I was grunting on that one. And then come down. You can use a chair. So the way you build the strength is to do this particular exercise, okay? So here we go. So keep lowering and lifting. I'm going to bring it to the front here as I do these. So sometimes people will swing their arms up to help them get up. No, see, that's not the lower body, okay? So this is beneficial for keeping our balance, okay? You can continue to lower and rise up off the toilet with confidence, keep your independence, right? You can walk up, a flight of stairs or your normal amount of stairs when you go to the doctor's office, yeah? If you're walking up the steps to go to church, yeah. You can use a handrail though, that works. So people 60 and above, men and women, they have a little different statistic. Let's see if I remember it correctly. I think the men are supposed to be able to do 14 in 30 seconds. Women, 12 in 30 seconds. And let's take a little rest there. Let's come to the front. So that doesn't mean you're a failure or anything like that. If you cannot do that in those amount of times, that's like a goal to work towards. So that's going to keep you independent, right? If you have lower number, so let's say you can only do 4 in 30 seconds. So you have a 70% predictability of falling in the future, okay? The higher your number is, whether you're using the assistance of the other chair or not, in that 30-second time means you have a lot of lower body strength. So you need to have a big booty, okay? You need to have muscle to age effectively. So those are my words to you, okay? I know I've got a challenge with this, so I figure other folks do too, and that's why we came up with this class for this time slot. So I hope you all appreciate that. All right, so from here, we're going to scoot back in our chair a little bit, just a little bit, not a whole bunch. Let's do our hand tapping sequence, shall we? So we're going to tap the sides of the pinkies. That's for lessening headache and vertigo. That's the heart meridian in traditional Chinese medicine. I'm going to scoot forward a little bit. It feels more comfortable for me to scoot forward. Very good. And typically you do this about a minute for each thing that we're doing here, but we're just doing a little sampler here just to give you an idea. I do have a longer video on my YouTube channel if you want to practice that with me. It's about a 10 to 15 minute. We do the big 6 and the hand tapping and all that. Very good. Next, we're going to go into that interweb of the thumb. So that aids nausea, digestive disorders. Now, you typically turned your hand the normal way that you do this. You're probably going, I don't normally do this. Well, now you do. What we're going to do to challenge our brain is stop and flip it. My brain goes, what are you doing? I'm doing the interwebs of my thumb thumping to help me with my nausea, my digestive disorders. Again, the stomach, the abdominal area is your second brain. You've got gut issues. You probably have some brain issues. You just might. Okay, now we're going to go into the in-between places of the fingers. Yeah? That's for, let me see what that is. I'm looking here. That's for pain or numbness in the limbs. Now, if you got rings, you got to be careful. They might make a bunch of noise if you got a ring-to-ring situation here. Again, you normally interlace your fingers a certain way. Believe me, you do, okay? Let's stop, wiggle the top finger, and then switch the other finger to be on top. Your brain is probably popping right now because you're like, ah! Okay, you're creating new neural pathways. We're doing a little dementia prevention right here using both sides of the brain. Yay, it's a good thing, I hope. Okay, the next one, let me see what the next one is. Pulse points at the wrists. That's the heart cardiovascular issue. So you could go like this, but I like to go up and down because we get to do it twice as much because we flip it, yeah? So again, the pericardium meridian. So we have, oh gosh, we've got 12 main meridians, and we have 8 other types of meridians and a couple of other meridians in our bodies. Acupressure points, if you're familiar with any of that. Trigger point therapy, that kind of thing. Flip it. Okay. Sound effects are optional. When you flip it, you can go. Louise probably thinks I'm just goofy as all heck, right? Yeah. She's laughing. Okay. Also, if I can get you laughing, that's good stuff in the brain, whether it's a real laugh or a fake one, okay? Very good. So the next one is cupping the hands. Kind of like when we swung the arms earlier, you're going to cup the hand and tap on top of the hand. That's for osteoarthritis and back pain. Now, if you've got rings, you got to kind of cup it, turn it a little bit more. We're tapping, not whapping, okay? Be sweet. Let's do the other one. Here we go. I've got a ring on this side, so I got to curve it a little bit more. So if you're on blood thinners, you may want to go softer. If you tend to, if you touch something and you have a little underneath the skin blood bruise, right? I know my mother has that. She just touches something and, So she would have to do this a whole lot softer, okay? And it's okay to do it softer. You move it to your wrist, and it's for neck and shoulder pain. Makes a nice little sweet sound here. Let's do the other side. So when we were doing that sit to stand, you probably noticed your heart rate going supremely high because, listen, you're using your glutes, your leg muscles, your lower leg muscles. You're using your core to keep yourself balanced while doing that. So this is all very integrated kind of a thing. Very good. Next one is for lessening stress, anxiety, having clarity and consciousness. You make a little fist, get your palm out, and you pound it. So when we sit here and do the hand tapping sequence, our heart rate should be going down, yeah? So we're kind of doing our rest portion of the class. We're just kind of getting into the mellow. Makes a good sound, huh? Let's do the other side. Here we go. Notice if one side feels more strong than the other. This is my weaker side. Definitely notice that. And my knuckles are bony too. Very good. Let's clap the hands. Woo! Get some circulation, some heat going on. Maybe you want to kind of like grind it like you're making meatballs or something like that. Get a little heat going on there. All right. From here, take a hand to a shoulder. Just kind of rub on that shoulder joint. Let's clap the hands again. Yeah, we did a lot for those shoulders today too, didn't we? Get some heat going on. Create some of that external heat over to the other shoulder. Very good. We're going to clap the hands again. Heat it up, heat it up. Move your feet forward a little bit. Let's get on top of the knees. Ooh, that feels nice. I'm hinged forward a little bit. Reverse. Very good. And we're going to sit back in our chair. We're going to just do a quick little body scan here. Just kind of notice what you notice here, because I know we're kind of running out of time, but I want to get you all the good stuff. So I'm kind of settling into my chair. Yeah, that feels good. Maybe the feet are more out. Maybe you're crossed at the ankles. Make it comfortable, okay? Make it comfortable. From here, if you would, maybe tuck the chin in a little bit towards your chest, and maybe your eyes are closed or you're gazing down at the floor. Either one's okay. And I'm placing my hands on my lap. And from here, just notice the feet on top of the floor. Notice the pressure of the feet on the ground. Now notice the sensation of the back of the legs in the chair. Just notice that pressure there. Notice the pressure of the behind, the low back, settling into the surface that's supporting you today. Let's notice now the mid-back, parts of the upper back. Notice the lengthening sensation of the back of the neck as you drop that chin a little bit more towards your chest, if you can, if it's comfortable. So notice all those places of support, the bottoms of the feet, the buttocks, the back. Feeling very weighted, very heavy, as if you were a rock sinking into the earth. Allow the earth to hold you up. So notice that sensation of heaviness. Good. Now, in the front places of the body, maybe you're noticing the air coming across the hands, the face, the feet, wherever your skin is out today. Notice the differences of the places in the front of the body, how they are not touching a surface that's supporting them, but they feel a little bit lighter. Maybe the legs are light, the arms are light. The whole front place of the body light as a feather, as if you're floating up towards the sky, especially when you compare that to the places in the back side of the body. The buttocks, the back, the feet, feeling weighted and heavy. So this is called a compare and contrast observation, guided rest practice. Noticing the front places of the body, noticing the back places of the body. Good. Go back to noticing your breath. Don't change it in any way. Just notice, what does it feel like here to breathe in? And what does it feel like here to breathe out? Again, notice the breath, inhaling and exhaling. Good. Now, I invite you to come back into the now. So let's kind of wiggle those fingers, wiggle those toes, maybe do some little ankle circles, little feet up and down. Come away from the back of the chair a little bit, come up to a nice tall posture. Have your feet be a little bit wide, hands on the legs, and let's just kind of do that upper body circle, being careful, mindful how this feels, because we're kind of moving in the pelvic bowl when we do this, even though it's being led by our shoulders. Little core contraction happening here. And then let's go the other direction. Notice if it feels a little different going the other direction. Feel spicy still on that right side. But those are my issues, yeah? And again, notice your issues, right? We're going to go into that seated cat. So hang on to your knees, curve to the back of the room. Notice how this cat might feel a little different than the beginning cat posture. Then slowly, slowly come up to a tall seated place. Kind of get settled there in your mountain pose. And then elbows out, hinge forward for that cow version. So that extension and flexion of the spine. I love it. Come back on up. And we'll say our traditional gratitude practice and our ending sayings to end our class today. So let's think about one thing that we're grateful for today, or maybe an idea of gratitude. So whatever that might be, let's kind of grab it, clasp it, and place it into our heart space. Your hands could be stacked or hands together as you kind of think about what you're grateful for today, and that chin drop down towards your chest, just in gratitude of showing up today. And let's just pause here for a moment, being grateful. Good. You can keep your chin towards your chest or have your chin be lifted, gazing forward, eyes opened or closed. So we say our traditional sayings to end the class today. So the light in me honors and respects the light in you. So let's keep the peace, the strength, and the understanding, and that little attitude of gratitude, and let's pass it on. Namaste, which means the bright light in me honors and respects the bright light in you. This concludes our practice of chair yoga for fall prevention. I'm now going to stop the recording, and then I'm going to put